Tattooing is one of the biggest controversies, however the new generation have really made it popular. On this week's show, we explore why people get tattoos. We are following Callum Berman, a young man who already has a lot of tattoos, and today you get to see his arm finally being finished.
Are you nervous or are you excited that you get it done?
Not nervous, no. I've sort of lost the nervousness of going having the tattoo done now because I've had so many, so I know exactly what to expect. I'm quite excited in a sense because it's the last space of my arm.
Is there anywhere you would never get tattooed?
Do you know what? If you'd have asked me that quite a few years ago, I probably would have said yeah, but now, I always said I'd never have my legs tattooed, but then there's a side of me now where I would have my legs tattooed.
Chris Hatch, a new talented tattoo artist, speaks to us about his experience of becoming a tattooist. He's a well-respected young man and talks more positively about tattoos against society's negative opinion.
I went to university, I studied illustration and animation. Originally I was going to get into kind of kids books and stuff like that, and after graduating I actually spent a bit of time doing kind of comic books and kids books, and eventually kind of fell into doing 3D animation, so I was actually doing kind of post-production on adverts and stuff. But it was always a little bit, there was something missing, it wasn't really as exciting as I wanted. I found myself basically sitting in a room on a computer all day long, which is not what I wanted to be doing.
Do your tattoos mean anything, or are they just because of the artwork?
They all have different meanings, everything has a different meaning. The things I picked that haven't got as a strong meaning at my tattoos are probably the skulls and the butterflies. They have a meaning, it's just not as personal to me, whereas the flowers and a lot of the writing is very, very personal to me. So,
what does some of the smaller flowers mean?
The smaller flowers, like the cherry blossoms, just symbolise that life is short but sweet, and they only bloom, I think it's for a few days. It's just to show that basically life's short, so enjoy it.
I mean, from a young age, my parents influenced me because my mum and my stepdad had been bikers, so I'd go along to bike rallies, and there's not a person there who doesn't have a tattoo.
I always wanted tattoos. I think even when I went back as a kid, I was always been interested in them, but I used to see a lot of people with them on their forearms, and I always thought, oh, I'd love to have one on my forearm, I think it'd be really nice. And then I had one done on my forearm, and from that point on, it just sort of grew really. I didn't expect it to, but it did. I didn't think I'd be the sort of person to have a full sleeve, but here I am now with a full sleeve.
In the past, people have always associated tattoos with the military, with prison tattoos was obviously quite a big one. And it was always kind of that sort of underground sort of thing where if you had a tattoo it was kind of frowned upon.
We spoke to psychologist Alice Jones on why people get tattoos for psychological reasons. Shows such as Miami Ink show us there is a great deal of bereavement and healing process that goes into tattoos. Also self-expression, individuality and sometimes deeper reasons can affect reasons why and what tattoos people get.
I think people might outwardly say that they do it for kind of reasons of self-identity.
The reasons people get tattoos also is to sort of be able to express themselves in a sort of artistic sort of way.
Tattooing is not just about the art. For a lot of people, there's a story behind their tattoos. Chris himself shows his life experiences on his arm.
Style-wise, the idea is that once it's all kind of filled in, the colours in there, the negative space makes quite a cool sort of shape on my arm as it is. But the story kind of goes I grew up in a little village called Ramsbury where the local emblem is kind of a raven, so it kind of goes around there, and then you've got my local pub, which was the Bell Inn, with had the oldest oak tree in England outside the front of it, and then for absolutely no reason at all, there's a little boy in a bathtub who's kind of getting carried off up into the sky above all the thatched houses, then kind of into London where there's a little girl sort of sat on top of Big Ben, and it kind of goes around again and sort of goes up over the hills and stuff, and eventually kind of onto the sort of man in the moon and stuff.
A lot of people ask me, oh, what would your mum think? And I say to them, my mum went with me to go get it. She actually said to me that I was going to cry, and she bet me a drink if I did.
How old were you when you got your first one?
I was 17 years old, so I wasn't even legal.
How did you get away with that one then?
I don't know really. I didn't have ID at all. I just went to a parlour that my friend told me about, and I really expected them to ID me, but they didn't. So I just sort of got away with it really. It's a bit naughty, but I did.
What do you think the majority is? Psychological reasons, or because they like the art, they like the look of them?
Which I think can be psychological in itself. I think kind of, the idea of a body aesthetic is really tied to your idea of self-identity and who you are.
The amount of disgusting tattoos we get through here, which people have been doing at home, that we need to try and fix, is incredible, and it's actually quite irresponsible.
What do you look for in an actual parlour?
Well, now nothing, because I don't really travel around to parlours now, obviously. But at first, when you're very first looking to have a tattoo done, if I could give any advice to anyone, it's just go somewhere you feel comfortable. There's a lot of tattoo parlours you feel quite uncomfortable being in because of the fact that you go into the place and there's a lot of heavily tattooed people, and you're looking to get your first or your second or your third, and these people have got a lot of tattoos, and in that environment, when you go in there, you feel as if you're being sneered at a little bit because you've only got a few small tattoos, so it can be quite hard in a sense. But it depends. Some people don't get nervous about that. Some people do. I got nervous personally when I went into a few parlours, but now it doesn't really faze me as much because I have a lot of tattoos.
There are pro-social addictions as well, so you can be addicted to all kinds of stuff. It's what you kind of get your rush from, what you get sort of reward feeling from. So I think it's perfectly plausible that you can become addicted to the idea of modifying yourself.
We follow Callum to the tattoo shop to watch him getting his next tattoo. It's deemed to go against the norms and values of society, and someone with tattoos comes across more rebellious. However, as we watch Callum's tattoo being done, we can see the effort that goes into this art and pain that some people go through.
When I was getting tattooed there, it hit a nerve, and my leg kept kicking, and I found that funny. And I've also had it done there, and it just hit the spot, and I couldn't stop laughing.
How does it feel after you get it done? Does it feel good, or are you still in pain?
It's not painful afterwards. It's like just being stung by stinging needles, I suppose, in a sense. It's just a little bit sore.
Have your mum and dad got tattoos themselves?
Yeah, my mum's got 5 tattoos, and my stepdad's got about 2.
Like after the touch-up of my right arm, I've said to myself many a time now that is it.
Recent stories show people are buying tattoo machines to tattoo at home with family and friends. This seems fun at first, however dangerous diseases such as HIV and hepatitis C mean people are putting themselves at risk.
You are dealing with someone's body, it's not a piece of paper. The customer's health and safety and the quality of the tattoo comes first before anything else.
On next week's show, we look at piercings ranging from the minor to the most drastic you've ever seen before, only on the world's most extreme.